Aloha, Steve Tobis here. It's a beautiful morning on the North Shore of Maui, and we have some big news. We have awesome waves, it's glassy out, and we recently joined the Foil Drive team as a rider. I'm really stoked to try this out. Thank you so much to Foil Drive for bringing me onto the team. I'm really stoked to ride this, and it's been a really cool piece of technology that's kind of taken the foiling world by storm over the last couple of years. So I feel really fortunate to be able to get on this platform, and I'm looking forward to sharing my journey with you guys. We are running the Foil Drive Assist Max package with the 3-blade prop. I have a 2-blade as well, so I'll do a video kind of comparing and contrasting, but first I want to kind of just figure this thing out and be able to ride it. I have almost no experience riding a Foil Drive. In Hood River back in September, I rode one for about 15 minutes. It was super fun, but it was glassy, flat water. I had a big board and a big foil. So this is a very different setup. This is a little 4.6 prone board and a smaller foil. I'm running my Progression 125. So we'll see how it goes. We have some pretty small bumps today. It's just a couple feet on the reef. It's a perfect day for learning how to foil drive. Now at the main peak out here, there's a few guys paddling. Even though this is my local spot and we're friends with everyone in the lineup, just out of respect for the paddlers and trying to be a good steward for the sport, we're not gonna go out to the main peak. I'm probably gonna end up going somewhere over there. There's a little wave coming through. It's one that it's really kind of hard to paddle out to. With the Foil Drive, that's kind of the beauty of this. That's not a big deal. I can just motor on out and go get it. With the Foil Drive, looking at your waves a little bit differently, finding your own space, not getting in the way of the paddlers is huge, because at the end of the day, we are still a powered craft, and we want to make sure that we're being respectful of everyone paddling in the lineup. I'm really excited to be able to go try and check out some new waves that I've never foiled before. So let's get after it. All right, so I tried on my prone board, and that was not even close. I was so sunk in the water. I was way underpowered. I didn't have the skills or the technique to get it going. So we went in and I swapped out for my 55-liter mid-length. So this should give us a little better success. So let's give this a shot. That's our first wave. Okay. Got up and got the motor out of the water, I think. It definitely feels a lot like towing, like got to set up for the wave and then turn in front of it. I turned more like how I would proning, and it put me too far behind, and I was like trying to get in front of it again with the motor. So I think turning a little earlier, lining up, and then popping up should help. Yeah, there's like 5 or 6 dudes out foil driving here. This is pretty sick. I'm pretty stoked on this right now. Something that I kind of learned or figuring out here is I need way less throttle than I think when I'm up. Like, it's kind of weird. I feel like I'm like gonna bog or lose the foil, but you don't. So just getting used to that feeling of like riding a little bit underpowered is making this a lot more controllable and manageable. It's unreal how flat the water is right now. We really don't get this a lot here, so this is like pretty special. So just being able to like cruise, look at the fish on the reef, and sit around while I'm waiting for a wave is kind of sick. It's something that you don't get to do paddling, like being able to just like explore. The thing that I'm trying to figure out the most is how to get from powered to on foil. On the wave, it's not too bad. And it's really just getting used to that feeling of having the push from the mast to transitioning to the push from the foil and like moving my feet or getting my weight shift in the right spot. definitely a lot of technique and nuance with this that I just got to figure out. But yeah, this is super fun to learn. I've rode so many waves already. Like, just the time to get from the beach to the lineup and start riding waves was like 2 minutes. Where with paddling out here, it'd be like, a 20-minute paddle, and then you wait for another 10, 15 minutes. I can go 30 minutes without even touching a wave. And here I've been in the water for 30 minutes or so, and I haven't stopped riding waves. So that's a really cool thing that the foil drive's opened up. Definitely looking for with the weight and kind of how everything wants to turn. It's a little different when your pod hits the water. There is a kind of dragging moment. So just getting used to that and kind of anticipating when that's going to happen has been helping me a lot. And I'm kind of feeling just the whole system better. There's definitely a learning curve. Like, you got to feel it out and figure out kind of how everything works and what it's going to feel like when a pod touches. But this thing's super sick. I've been out for probably like an hour, and I haven't even killed one battery. It's pretty low, but it's not dead. So I'll probably get like 1 or 2 more waves, then swap it out for a new battery, and go get some more. All right, so to wrap this up, we just got done with our session. We were out for like 2.5 hours. We burned through 2 batteries. It was an awesome time, and I had a ton of fun. Just kind of a few thoughts that I have after doing this and going through the very first day of learning. I had a lot more fun than I thought I would. I rode so many waves. It was unreal. And I'm a big believer that wave count equals fun. The more waves you ride, the more fun you're gonna have. And it doesn't matter how you're doing that or what craft you're riding. However you're getting waves, and the more waves you get, just the more fun you're gonna have. So I rode a ton of waves. I had a ton of fun. The only thing that for me kind of compares as far as wave count is the wind sports, kite surfing, wing foiling, parawinging. Those are the only other sports that I do that I get a similar number of waves in this amount of time. That was really fun to be able to get that feeling out of a surf discipline. It was a glassy morning, the waves were beautiful. It was just a perfect day to kind of learn and get my feet wet with the foil drive. So I tried going out first on my small 4.6 prone board, and that did not work. I was not even close. And what I figured out after watching a few people who were on similar boards and a lot better at foil driving than I am, I was kind of approaching it conceptually totally wrong. I was trying to lay on the board and use a motor to get myself up and motor out, where everyone on the small prone boards, they were just kind of boogie boarding and trolling out to the lineup and then using the braking wave and the motor to get themselves up and going. So I kind of just had the wrong approach to it. So definitely trying the smaller board is something I'm really looking forward to for my next session. I think that using the mid-length today was probably the right choice because it got me a ton of time on foil. I was able to spend a lot of time up using the motor, practicing going from powered motoring to unpowered foiling. That was kind of a tricky thing to figure out. And then also getting used to the timing and kind of how everything feels on the wave. About halfway through my second battery, I started to get a better feel for the weight balance and how that pod is going to grab the water, and having that little extra battery weight at the top of the mast. It is a different feeling, but kind of once I started to anticipate that and figure out how it's going to feel, I was able to start drawing lines that I would just prone foiling or sup foiling. So it was cool to feel the progression and kind of go through that. Like when I'm trying to work on something prone foiling or surf foiling, I might get, 15 or 20 waves in a session to practice that. where with the foil drive, I was able to ride 50 waves and get 10 times the amount of practice that I normally would. So I feel like my progression is just going to ramp up by using the foil drive and kind of adding that into my quiver as another tool to train with. Finally, one of the last things that I really was noticing was having where that pod is mounted. When you're riding the wave, you really want to keep all that out of the water because there is noticeable drag and you feel it when you touch it down. And that was a really good training tool for me to practice riding higher on the mast. That's something that I've really tried to work on the last year, especially with downwinding and racing and trying to be fast and efficient. A big part of being efficient on the foil is being able to ride super high on the mast. If you watch really good foilers, they're always really high on their mast. It was kind of a weird feeling my first few waves, riding higher than I normally would. But then once that started to click, I noticed I was carrying a lot more speed through the wave, and my turns just felt like I had a lot more power as well. So just another thing that I think I'm going to be able to pull from the foil drive discipline to just normal prone or sup surfing, as well as downwinding. So I'm really excited. I think this is just a great tool to add to the quiver, and I'm really looking forward to progressing on it. Hope you enjoy the video. If there's any other content or things you want to see on the foil drive or any other disciplines, leave a comment down below. Aloha.